It also strengthens boundaries, which we need plenty of these days and most days. It
Mm-hmm.
helps maintain energetic integrity in empathic individuals.
Hello, and welcome to the Herbs with Rosalee podcast, a show exploring how herbs heal as medicine, as food, and through nature connection. I'm your host, Rosalee de la Forêt. I created this YouTube channel to share trusted herbal wisdom so that you can get the best results when relying on herbs for your health. I love offering up practical knowledge to help you dive deeper into the world of medicinal plants and seasonal living. Each episode of the Herbs with Rosalee podcast is shared on YouTube as well as your favorite podcast app. Transcripts and recipes for each episode can be found at herbswithrosaleepodcast.com or through the link in the video description. Also in the video description, you'll find other helpful resources. For example, to get my best herbal tips, as well as fun bonuses, be sure to sign up for my weekly herbal newsletter. Okay, grab your cup of tea and let's dive in. This week's student spotlight is on Cricket Pierce Koharic in California. Cricket is a homeschooling mom taking the Rooted Medicine Circle with her 11-year-old son, Yarrow. Together, they watch the videos, make herbal medicine, explore sit spots, and have heartfelt conversations about plants, animals, and the history of their bioregion. Cricket shared how deeply meaningful it's been to learn alongside her son and has described the joy of seeing him treat plants with care, even stopping his dad from picking the first spring flower. To honor her contributions, Mountain Rose Herbs is sending Cricket a $50 gift certificate to stock up on their incredible selection of sustainably sourced herbal supplies. Mountain Rose Herbs is my go-to for high-quality organic spices, herbal remedies, and even hard-to-find botanicals. They ship all over the U.S. and have a massive selection of products to fuel your herbal adventures. Thank you, Mountain Rose Herbs, for supporting our amazing students. And if you'd like to explore Mountain Rose Herbs' offering and support this show, you can find the special link in the show notes. Hey, it's Rosalee. You know, creating this podcast has been one of the most rewarding parts of my herbal work. And if you found something meaningful here, whether it's a new perspective, a favorite recipe, or just a sense of calm, I want to let you know there's a good way to go even deeper. It's called the Podcast Circle. Inside, you'll get access to live classes taught by some of my favorite herbal teachers, behind-the-scenes updates, and a beautiful library of herbal resources that we've gathered over the years. But more than that, it's a space to connect with fellow plant lovers who care about the same things you do. And truly, your membership helps make this podcast possible. It's how we keep the episodes coming and the herbal goodness flowing. So if you're ready to be part of something more, something rooted in connection, head over to herbalpodcastcircle.com. I'd love to see you there. I'm really honored to bring you this episode with Carolyn Jones. This conversation is a bit different from others we've had on the show. It's not so much focused on the physical uses of herbs, but instead on their deeper, more energetic qualities. Carolyn chose to speak about yarrow, and not just as a plant you might reach for in your home apothecary, although she does touch on that as well, but really an ally in the truest sense of the word. She shared about yarrow as a flower essence and the many ways it really shows up in her work supporting personal and collective healing. Several things she said really landed in my bones. You'll get that. She's a very powerful speaker, and I know that these things are going to stay with me for a long time. Carolyn also offers so much to her community through classes, supporting free clinical work, and by simply holding space for transformation. So I'm really excited for you to experience her perspective and maybe even hear something that you didn't know you were ready for. For those of you who don't already know her, Carolyn Jones is the founder of the Healing Project and serves as the coordinator of the Herbalists Without Borders Healing Project Mobile Clinic. A dedicated community herbalist and holistic health educator, she holds certifications in aromatherapy, flower essences, reflexology, and acupuncture detoxification. Carolyn is also an accomplished author and bereavement chaplain. Her published works include Pick Up Your Bed and Walk, a self-care guide for those pursuing a healthier lifestyle through herbal support, Incantations, an affirmation guidebook, and Medicine for Your Soul, which explores the trauma-informed healing potential of flower essences and hydrosols in combination with essential oils. Welcome to the show, Carolyn. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you, Rosalie. I'm so happy and thrilled to be here.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm really excited to dive in and hear more about you, hear more about your story, the ways that you've been led onto this plant path. I know you work with herbs and healing in so many different ways, so I'm excited to hear just how that all came to be for you.
Hmm. Well, when I was younger, I was first introduced to Back to Eden, the book
Mm,
Back to Eden with Jethro Kloss. So I dipped and dabbed. I wasn't really serious about it. I didn't know that herbalism was a thing.
hmm
And throughout the years, I would reference the book when I didn't want to take pharmaceuticals, and everything always worked. But I got more serious about it as the illnesses became more serious,
mm,
and I became more involved with a local herbalist. And she would have community workshops where she would serve green juice, and so it piqued my interest. So when I really had to deal with the issue of fibroids,
mm,
then is when I went to her. But the thing that really sparked my interest is that she said sometimes it could be too late.
mm,
Now, although I had the surgery and everything that was required at that time, so I thought, I feel now in retrospect that maybe yarrow or mugwort could have helped that situation.
mm.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you you only you only know as far as you know.
right.
That was She didn't take me there, so I that's where I left off at with that information.
Hmm
But having gone through that experience and actually not having to take the codeine aspirin,
hmm
uh, her herbalist and masseuse came to my house um, and gave me valerian tincture. And from that point, because it stopped the pain, it got me really interested in herbs. Wow, it could actually take the place of what the doctors are offering, you
hmm
know. Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, there's those moments we have where it's like, oh, these really work. Because I was kind of like you. I dipped and dabbed for a while, and then you have that moment like, oh, this actually works for more than boo-boos too. I mean, that's a really big thing to substitute something like valerian for, codeine. And you
Yes.
think about all of the side effects associated with these heavy painkillers, both, personally and societally. And the fact that we have these wonderful herbs like valerian, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So I love that valerian was one of your. I always think of gateway herbs, so it's a lovely gateway herb.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, white willow bark is another good one.
Hmm.
As far
Eh,
as managing pain and stuff. So,
mhm.
hmm
Yeah. And so after that experience, is that you were kind of like all in then? You were like, okay, I'm hooked.
yes, yes. Then I got serious about it, but I hadn't started studying. It just so happens a dear friend of mine who's deceased at this time called me one day and said, um, "Thanks for sending me that information about that herb school." And I said, "I didn't send you any information about herb school." He said, "Yes, you did." I said, "No, I didn't." I
Mhm.
said, "But send it to me." And he sent me the information about the American Institute of Holistic Theology.
Hmm.
I looked at the curriculum and saw that I could create my own course of study,
Hmm.
and I registered the same day.
Oh
And so,
wow.
yeah, so that was in 2009, and I've been hooked ever since.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Um, I love that. Like that kind of gives me goosebumps. The here, thanks for the school you sent me, but it ended up circling all the way back around. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And you do a lot of community work with herbalism now, and I would love to hear about that. You mentioned in your bio Herbalists Without Borders, for example, and what kind of ways are you working with herbs now in your community?
Yes, Herbalists Without Borders is just a pure treasure.
Hmm.
And it helped me expand my practice to the community in a wonderful way because I can provide giveaways. And of late, I've been working with the Catella branch of the Brooklyn Public Library.
Mm.
They have a strong relationship with me. So far, I've done 3 workshop series,
Mm.
and they have approved monthly community clinics from now until October, and
Oh,
then
wow.
I'll start again in the spring.
Mm.
But that way it'll give me a chance to winterize the community
Hmm.
before the harsh weather comes through.
Yeah.
But yeah, I create different courses and teach people about managing pain, teach
Mm.
them about tinctures, flower essences. So I structure my courses for topics about herbs that they don't usually hear about. Like they
Mhm.
know herb teas, but
Mhm.
they don't know about the value of flower essences
Mm.
or homeopathic medicine, you know, and introduce to them to some of the history, uh,
Mm.
the cultural history surrounding herbs as well.
Hmm. So these community clinics, they're classes that you offer. So you're like offering a different class each month. Is that what it is?
Well, for this community clinic, I
Mm.
have a team of about 14 people. And
Oh, wow.
so for whoever is available, they're going to come out and help me now. Richard Mandelbaum, who was so kind as to introduce us, I just love
Hmm.
him to death,
Me too.
um, sent me a graduate from Arbor Vitae,
Mm.
and she is the headliner. She's the clinical herbalist for the clinic. And she has joined the Healing Project Mobile Clinic as well.
Mm.
And she'll be doing 15-minute consultations on
Okay, so
one
this is a consultation. Cool.
right on one
Mm.
side of the room, but on the other side of the room, other healing modalities will be introduced to the people who are in the waiting area, like
Oh.
aromatherapy, sound therapy. I just recently connected with an occupational therapist who does red light therapy,
Hmm.
so this way we'll be able to offer more than just herbs. And I always make some type of exciting herbal tea blend for the people to enjoy.
So if I understand this correctly, this sounds so cool. So like people come to the clinic and while they're waiting, they get to hear about different healing modalities. And then when it's their turn, they head over to their consultation and they have the consultation with somebody.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome.
And she'll set up follow up. Like she'll do her thing as far as the protocol for a clinical herbalist. So
Hmm.
that will also introduce her to the community.
Hmm. Oh, that's lovely. Herbalists Without Borders
Mm.
is so inspiring, and just as an organization, but then it's the individuals bringing it to life. That every time I hear about a project, I just think this is so cool and just really the heart of herbalism. So yeah, it's
Yes,
beautiful.
and what I love about Herbals Without Borders is they allow you to self-actualize according to what you feel about the
Hmm.
herbs.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Well, that's lovely. Well, the plant that you've chosen today is my plant ally for the year. So I was just spending some time with Yarrow already this morning, and I'm really
Oh,
excited to hear your thoughts on Yarrow and just whatever you have to share about this amazing plant.
yes. Well, I just love the miraculousness of it for healing wounds. I was
Mm.
first introduced to Yarrow through aromatherapy,
Mm.
and when my instructor, then instructor, now friend, Amy Anthony, gave the lecture, she said it is the mother of all wound healers. So, of
Mm.
course, that snatched my attention. And I was able to put it to the test when my great grandson had gotten a little cut. And I happened to have salve that had yarrow in it,
Mm.
and I put it on him, and the next day, it was as if his skin had never been broken.
Wow.
So, yeah. So it's just so wonderful, you know?
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I always
And
say that there's one plant everyone should know as like a hiker or anyone who spends time outside. It's yarrow because it's probably growing near them and it can be life saving, in terms of
yes.
its abilities to heal wounds, address infection, etc. Yeah. Mm.
Mhm. Yes. And, when looked at it as a flower essence
Mm.
and saw that it even addresses generational trauma, then
Hmm.
it became even more dear to my heart.
Hmm.
Because everybody has some of that.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, well,
Mhm.
that's interesting. I hadn't heard about that with yarrow as a flower essence. So that's really interesting to me.
Mhm. Yes. Yeah. So, may I read you some of the attributes of it?
Sure, yeah.
Mhm. So, as a flower essence, it provides emotional and energetic protection,
Mm,
and it's often used for people who are sensitive to environments or others' emotions.
mm,
It also strengthens boundaries, which we need plenty of these days and most days. It
mhm,
helps maintain energetic integrity in empathic individuals. It helps with healing trauma, supporting those recovering from psychic wounds or spiritual overload. And it is said to be ideal for healers, caregivers, and intuitives.
mm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So it's
that's lovely. That makes me remember Carolyn when I was a younger herbalist, just getting like online and feeling like I was just so sensitive, to like the most herbalists are so kind, and so it doesn't come up a lot, but sometimes someone is having a bad day and they decide to take it out on you. So
yes,
I would just
yes,
be so sensitive to that, and somebody suggested I get yarrow hydrosol and I keep it by my computer,
yes,
and so that was a regular thing that I'd sit down on my computer and I'd spray the yarrow hydrosol. I love the scent so much, and it did feel, very protective. And I've just, you talking about that, I was like, oh, I don't use that as much anymore. People still have bad days and take it out on me. Again,
right.
most people are so nice, but I feel like there was like helpfulness there, that yarrow did help, with those boundaries and everything. So yeah.
Yes, and it's great you mentioned that. I also have information as a hydrosol. May I share
Mhm.
that with you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So it's skin healing because it cools inflamed or broken skin and
Mm,
it helps with eczema or sunburn. It's a mild astringent, so it's good as a facial toner, especially for oily or acne prone skin.
mm,
Now, what you mentioned in the energetic use of it, when you spritz it around your body, it cleanses your auric field,
mm,
and it's ideal after difficult conversations or urban overstimulation.
mm.
Well, I guess we should be soaking in a vat of it here then. And it also balances the feminine. It can be used as a cooling spray for menopausal hot flashes or
Mm,
PMS.
mm. Oh, hearing that makes me miss spritzing it all around, and, it did feel so good to just I love to take hydrosols and just spritz them right into my face when it's hot out. There's nothing more lovely, and,
Yes,
yeah, and again, the smell of yarrow, you don't really smell yarrow and think like, "Oh, it doesn't smell like a rose." It's not like
yes,
that, but there's something so intoxicating about it. It's intriguing. It's a
yes.
very intriguing smell that's pleasant.
Yes, that's something that I had fun introducing the community to my last series as well, hydrosols,
Mm,
spray, and they were very open. And just, to get off the subject of yarrow for one quick second,
sure.
the cucumber hydrosol, you have
Mm.
to try it. It smells like a bowl of cucumbers if you haven't tried it already.
And so lovely again in the summertime. I mean, it's just like that's so lovely and cooling. I love, combining cucumber and mint for the summer. That's kind of like my ultimate,
Ooh,
that's
yes.
a good
Mm,
one.
mm.
Yeah. Well,
That's
this is
nice drink too. Mhm.
yummy.
Mm.
So I love, like, already we've talked about yarrow and you've talked about working with it as a salve, as a flower essence, as a hydrosol. I love how versatile plants are, and especially yarrow, it definitely doesn't have a one way to work with it. I'm wondering, are there other ways that you like to work with yarrow?
Uh, well, I do use yarrow. If I fall, I use it as a tea to make sure there's no clotting or no,
Mm,
mhm,
mm.
yeah, to handle whatever internal bruising I might have.
Oh, okay, so you're taking the tea internally, not just topically.
Right.
Mm.
And I've also used it as a poultice
Hmm.
for when I fell and hurt my knee. and I mixed yarrow with bone set, Solomon seal, uh, threw some burdock in there and some comfrey, and
Mm,
made a oil. Well, I heated because I needed it right away, so
mm-hmm.
I heated the oil and put it in there, and then made a poultice for my knee.
Mm. Yeah, I think poultices are so underrated, just getting the plants on the spot is really
Yes.
lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it
Yeah.
sounds like you really turned to yarrow in times of need with your grandsons, and, scrape and you falling. It's like that plant that you reach for when you're like, "Oh, shoot. I
Yes.
need some help right now." Yeah.
Right. I'm
Yeah.
careful about how I use it in the community
Mm,
because I work with a lot of elders and they may be on blood thinners.
mm.
Right. So, if anything, it would be topically, with a flower essence or a hydrosol or something.
It's
Mm.
such a good point, just that all these different ways of working with the plants kind of opens up possibilities for us. And so that when there might be a contraindication like that, we can still, it's not that we can say, oh, I can't work with yarrow. It's like, oh, in what way can I work with yarrow?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Earlier, you had mentioned when, going through fibroids and that maybe yarrow might have been a helpful ally with the fibroids. And I was wondering if you'd speak more to that as well.
I think that it might have, along with mugwort, I'm
Mm,
thinking,
mm-hmm,
might have been able to control the bleeding. I was clotting a lot.
mm-hmm,
And my gynecologist told me that if you're clotting, you're hemorrhaging.
hmm,
I thought it was clots. So because I wasn't flowing buckets of blood, I didn't think that was a hemorrhage. She said, you're clotting. That means you're hemorrhaging.
mm-hmm,
So I believe that the yarrow and the mugwort could have regulated my bleeding and helped. And also using castor oil packs
hmm,
might have helped shrink the fibroid, but
hmm,
now I'll never know. But
hmm,
the point is, it just opened up my mind for speculating about
hmm.
the possibilities because castor oil is known to shrink growths.
Mhm.
And um, as a matter of fact, I taught uh, a workshop about Edgar Casey, and
Hmm.
he predicted that castor oil would be making a comeback in the 21st century. And so I'm helping him out with that.
I love it. Yeah. Yeah, well, I believe that every healing path we take, offers both healing and knowledge, and so that's the way of it. And it is interesting to speculate, what might have been with yarrow and mugwort.
Yeah.
That does make me think of a while ago. I was listening to a podcast, and it was about fibroids, and it was from a very like Western medicine perspective. And in
Mhm.
it, they interviewed women who had fibroids and just how intense it can be, and how debilitating, and just going through the symptoms. And they really did just talk about how oftentimes surgery is the only option, and that's all that they talked about. And I just thought, oh, that is just so sad,
Mm,
because sometimes surgery is absolutely necessary, like 100%. But it's always helpful if that's, like, I think, the like seventh or eighth option we look at, in
mhm.
terms of like, let's try these other things first, and then move on to that if we need to get there. So I'm glad you're speaking about that, because if people are out there with fibroids or some kind of related issue, to know that herbs do have some healing potential there and are a great place to start. They're not always
Yes.
where we finish, and that's fine. But it's a good place to start because they are very amazing. And yarrow's ability to move blood and address clots, like you said,
Mhm.
um, is profound and well celebrated as well.
Yes. And also painful menses. I
Hmm.
wish I had known then what I know now.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
spread the news for those who are suffering. But, I had one good week out of a month.
Oh, yeah. That's
Hmm.
so rough, so rough. Yeah, I was dealing with painful menses last year, and they just kinda snuck
Mhm.
up on me. But I was like, I mean, it was really bad, like, I was vomiting because the pain was so bad. And
Mhm.
yarrow ended up being one of the most, powerful herbal allies for me, which is why I decided to have or yarrow as my herbal ally this year, because I was like, "Oh," in some ways I could say I know this herb, right? I've been working with it for 2
Mhm.
decades, but I felt like I wanna know yarrow more,
Oh, so
since it
happy for
gifted
you.
me with that healing. So, yeah,
Mhm.
again, it's a powerful herb that can be overlooked. I remember,
Yes.
I was at a Native Plant Society event, and it was
Mm,
February, and it's very, there's no flowers out in February where I live. And so we brought photos to share, to like talk
mhm.
about the good times.
Yeah.
And we put them on a thumb drive, and we had them up on the screen. And
Mhm,
I had a picture of yarrow, and somebody in the
mhm.
crowd was like, "Why bring yarrow? It's so common." And I was kind of offended on behalf of yarrow.
Exactly. How
Like,
dare you?
yeah, this is an amazing plant. And
Mhm.
to look at those flowers, you could like brush them off as common, but
Gorgeous.
oh, they're just gorgeous. Yeah, all those little
Mhm.
tiny flowers and a big flower head and those
Yes.
feathery leaves. I could get lost in yarrow for sure.
I love it.
Oh.
Mhm.
Oh, is there anything else you'd like to share about yarrow, Carolyn?
I want to talk about the spiritual and energetic properties, if I
Oh,
may.
yes, absolutely. Thank you.
So, we spoke about the auric shield property, and I'll just mention it again, saying that it strengthens the energy field, especially during times of vulnerability.
Mm,
Warrior energy,
mm,
it balances strength and sensitivity. Ancestral wisdom
mm,
connects to ancient lineages of healing and protection. And I always ask people to remember their grandmothers and grandfathers who are responsible for practicing medicine with the plants is why we're here today.
mm.
You know,
Yeah.
they passed life on to us through plants. Visionary ally opens intuitive perception while maintaining groundedness.
Mm,
And of course, in ritual use, it's burned or carried in pouches for psychic defense or to call in healing spirits. So I
mm,
guess that would be a nice blend with some sweetgrass or sage or even bay leaves.
mm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I love all of those. I feel like that's kind of solidifies why I'm working with Yarrow this year. So thank you. I already know I'm gonna re-listen to that again, to let it all soak in. So thank you for sharing that. And it brings to mind your recipe that you shared with us, which is such a beautiful way to work with Yarrow as well. Um, so yeah, if you'd love to, if you'd like to talk about that recipe a little bit, I love the title of it, "Medicine for the Soul: a courage blend."
Yes, and I would like to tell you how it came about.
Mhm.
People don't often know about flower essences,
Mm,
and they're also very reticent about trying new things, about ingesting new things.
mhm,
And because flower essences can work topically, I thought it out and said, I'll create a mister. So flower essences don't have a scent. And I thought I might make it refreshing by adding hydrosol. So I said, okay, I'll blend hydrosols, flower essences, and then put a drop of an essential oil in it because people are always checking to see how something smells.
mhm,
And each flower essence has its own emotional property. So I sort of worked at it backwards. Instead of doing a consultation with people, I made a list of emotions that people might want to invoke as opposed to going at it from the direction of what do I want to get rid of?
hmm. Oh, I love that.
Right. What do you want
Mhm,
to call forth?
mm,
So, in the list of emotions that I wanted people to think about invoking, courage stood out for the purposes of this podcast
mhm,
because I think we could all use a little bit of that these days.
mhm,
Okay. And the courage blend creates a luminous protective boundary around the aura, guarding against energy drains, psychic overload, or emotional absorption from others.
mm,
Okay. It's especially useful for, as I said, empaths, energy workers, and caregivers who tend to absorb the pain or emotions of others. And, I've been coming across quite a few people who have lost loved ones, but they were their caregivers before they passed.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just absolutely drained. I'm a chaplain as well. So, knowing that that ministry of presence, you have to protect yourself during these moments because as you take on the emotions, you drain yourself. It helps one stay centered and sovereign, even in noisy, chaotic, or emotionally turbulent surroundings. It's very important to feel that quiet space, find that quiet nucleus in your spirit, that safe space where you can sit in spite of what's going on around you. And it encourages alignment with one's own soul truth and prevents spiritual leakage or overextension. Yes. So I think, that power in itself, you can use it by itself and get what you need. But the added power of the essential oil and the hydrosols, would you like to hear about that?
Absolutely.
So I use vetiver. Oh, I love vetiver
Mm-hmm.
essential oil. It is delicious. But here is its power. It channels fiery energy into focused spiritual purpose. It tempers overzealousness and helps people direct their convictions with clarity and balance. Because we can have a conviction, but we don't have to just be all out. When we have clarity and balance, we can take time to listen to others.
Just so needed right now. Yeah.
Yes. Ideal for those who burn themselves out for a cause. And the other thing is to just be mindful to not burn yourself out for a cause. Know that the cause will be there in your absence or your presence, you know? So do your part and then sit down somewhere and relax yourself. Get some sleep, breathe, you know? It teaches surrender and trust, softening spiritual intensity without weakening the mission. I love that. Softening spiritual intensity without weakening the mission. So just because you come at a situation with a quiet spirit doesn't mean you're weak.
Mm-hmm.
It just means that you're mindful and calculating about it. Mhm. It teaches, it clears mental fog and supports clear perception. God knows we need that, you know.
Always, yeah.
Yes. And we're in the middle of Mercury retrograde, so mindfulness is even more important now. And being still and listening to our inner voice, our inner instructions, and not negating it, because sometimes we hear that voice and we're like, you know, I'm gonna do it this way. And then find out a little bit later in the day. Sometimes it doesn't even wait until another week. You find out later, oh, I should have done that. Has that ever happened to you?
Couple times.
Yes, yes. So we have to learn how to trust that inner voice, that inner truth. And it supports intuitive vision that's grounded in personal power and wise action. So that listening becomes your wisdom, part of your wisdom. The other ingredient is sweetgrass hydrosol.
Oh,
Oh,
I
I
love
love sweetgrass.
it.
Mm,
Hmm.
yes. I have a braided sweetgrass just hanging, and every now and then it's in my bedroom. And as I pass, I just and then go ahead and move through the house. It's just I don't know, it just clears my mind.
Hmm.
What does sweetgrass do for you?
Oh, I feel like it's like the sweetness is so calming, like it just feels so good. Like it feels like, oh, like I've got you, it just feels like a hug, I guess.
Yes, it
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, sweetgrass hydrosol, and by the way, the hydrosol does smell like sweetgrass. It draws in benevolent spirits, ancestral wisdom, and high vibration energy. It also sanctifies your space and prepares it for prayer, healing, ceremony, or meditation. It imparts a gentle, uplifting sweetness that eases sorrow, opens the heart, and instills gratitude. It does have that way about it where you can almost feel it soothing your heart when you smell it. It gently clears stagnant or heavy energy while reinforcing a sense of spiritual protection and optimism. And it harmonizes the spiritual and physical realms that we know as grounded divinity.
Beautiful.
Mhm. So those are the ingredients
Hmm.
in the courage blend.
That was a powerful introduction to those ingredients, Carolyn. How
Thank
would you recommend working with this blend?
Well, I put it in a mister bottle
Hmm.
and just spray it. Just spray it. Spray it in the environment, spray it around me,
Hmm.
or the person that I'm working with. Uh, it's very interesting that when people choose them, like I give them the list of emotions and they know right away what they want.
Hmm.
And they choose it with intention. That's what I love. The fact that when you use it, the intention is already in place.
Hmm.
Now all you have to do is enjoy it wherever, spray it on your pillow, wherever you want it to be.
I love the spraying on the pillow. I'm a big fan of the nighttime routine, and I love like when I crawl into bed for it just feel like a sacred space, a beautiful space, a calming space, and scent for me is just a really big part of that.
Mhm.
So I love that.
Yes. And when I changed my sheets yesterday, I sprayed the mattress and the sheets.
Mm,
That's why put everything back. It's great.
that's lovely. Carolyn, I'm almost realizing that maybe we should backtrack a little bit because you said a lot of people don't know about flower essences, and I'll bet there's somebody out there right now wondering what a flower essence is.
Okay. Well, a flower essence is an energetic product of the plant. And, my best friend ever, Jennifer Ann Tucker, she's a flower essence practitioner. And, we go back and forth about flower essences. And every now and then she'll send me pictures of the flower in the distilled water or the filtered water, whichever one she uses, under the sun,
Hmm.
sitting on a rock. So, you know, it pulls the energy of the sun, and of course, the water absorbs the energy of the flower, and then it's strained, and uh, depending on how soon you're going to use it, you would put something in it that would stabilize it for shelf life. But if you're going to use it right away, you just let it do its work on
Mm-hmm.
you. Mm-hmm.
Do
Mm-hmm.
you make your own flower essences or do you get them from, say, Jennifer Ann Tucker or somebody else?
Well, Jennifer has sent me quite a few. As a
Hmm.
matter of fact, when I was working in a funeral home, she sent me flower essences that would help the people that I was working
Hmm.
with their grief. And I'm a bit spoiled by Herbalists Without Borders. So I know I'm getting top quality product from them. And
Hmm.
I order my flower essences from them.
Hmm.
And I order my hydrosols from Mountain Rose. I love their brand.
Oh, nice. Nice. And they have the sweetgrass mountain
Yes, they
rose as well.
do.
Lovely. Okay, because
Yes, they
I want to make this blend. So it's good to know.
do. They have the sweetgrass and yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank
Mhm.
you so much for sharing about yarrow and for, again, that powerful explanation of this beautiful recipe. Have no doubt many people are going to feel called to make it and to work with it as well. So thank you for that.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I did create a book around it called Medicine for the Soul.
Mm.
And um it explains all of the blends in detail as I read to you.
Oh, cool. So the book is Medicine for Your Soul.
Medicine for your soul, essential oils, hydrosols, and flower essences.
Wonderful. And that's not the only book you've written. Do you want to tell us about the other book as well?
Sure. Pick Up Your Bed and Walk is the first book that I wrote, mainly because I was working with senior citizens and I would teach about an herb this week. And the next week, they said, "What was that herb you were talking about again?" So I said, "Let me just create a book." So it's a bit of a guidebook
Mm.
for people who are just becoming familiar with herbs and oils and clays and all of that. And I made it like A to Z.
Oh, cool.
So it's just a blurb with it has my poetry in it and
Mm.
affirmations. So it's just a way to introduce people to herbs with a fun twist.
I love that.
Yes, and Incantations is an affirmation book. So it
Oh.
has over 100 affirmations um, because people sometimes don't know how to say something good about themselves.
Mm.
I was talking to one of my friends the other day, and I said, "Okay, I need you to write a blurb about yourself and send it to me." She said, "Oh, I hate doing that." And I said, "Well, I'm going to teach you how to love talking about yourself. You
Hmm.
know, you should never um, not want to celebrate the you, the temple that you're occupying,
Hmm.
and let the world know because there's value there, you know?
I feel like everyone needs to hear that again. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So your three books all sound really powerful. Are they available just wherever books are sold, or is it better to get them off your website, or what's the best way for people to find them?
Um, I like offering them directly because a lot
Oh,
of times people have questions, and so I like connecting with the people.
okay,
So
wonderful.
contact me through my website, sure.
Okay, great. Yes, and there'll be a link to your website in the show notes as well. So thank you for that. Yeah. And
Mhm.
what other things do you have going on in the herbal world that you're working on, courses you might be doing, etc.?
Well, I'm working on a book now called Blood
Oh,
and Guts.
oh,
And yeah, and it's talking about the importance of keeping your blood cleansed
oh,
and your colon cleansed.
mm,
Because what fascinated me when I was doing my studies in studying about Ayurvedic medicine,
mm,
and I love it because diet is the focus, kitchen
mhm,
medicine.
mhm,
And when I learned that what they call AMA, uh, fecal impaction,
mhm,
occurs, that poison begins to leak through your intestinal wall into your bloodstream. And that also promotes disease
mhm,
as well. And it usually travels to the weakest area of your body. So then it manifests as that disease.
mhm,
And so the book is, we'll talk about the herbs that are good for blood building and blood cleansing, and also the herbs that are great for cleansing your intestine.
mm. Yeah, as herbalists, we love those regular bowel movements for sure. It's a
Oh,
rallying cry. You know, just the other day, I was scrolling through Instagram and there was so much of my Instagram is like, health related stuff. And there was this MD and he's like, I'm a gut health specialist, doctor, blah, blah, blah. And he said, I'm here to tell you that you do not need to poop every day. 3 times a week is just fine. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I kind of thought that was like that we were over that, and I just couldn't believe it. The doctor was like, not only like perpetuating that, but like making a stand, and it was just
Yes,
like, no, no, no. Like, I may
yes.
be a lowly
He's
herbalist, but
constipated.
yeah, but no, 3 times a week, that's
No,
not ideal.
no,
No. It might be
no.
normal, in
Yes.
our society, but it's not ideal. So
Yeah,
that was
that's
unfortunate.
right. And I have a friend who just got tickled. I mean, I had just met the person, and we were talking about health, and I said, "Are your bowel movements pebbly?" And he was just so tickled by the fact that I had just met him, and I was asking about his bowel movements. But
Yeah.
it's important.
Yeah,
Mm,
that's a real insight into health for sure.
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
I'll look
Mhm.
forward to seeing that book come out. 4 books under your belt. That's, an impressive feat. And I love that, yeah, you're offering those direct from your site as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Any other projects you'd like to share before I get to my last question for you, Carolyn?
Um, I think we just about covered. I'm really excited about the upcoming clinic.
Mm,
So that's what I'm laser focused on right now. I do work with seniors. I do hand massages with my work covers a broad spectrum of
mhm,
caring,
mhm,
and seniors being one myself, but I always say my seniors um, want this information and they want to be touched, they want to be loved on.
mhm,
So uh, that's my excitement these days that I'm
mhm.
able to go around and do these things and share information and such.
Hmm. Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you for your work. Like I said before, I just find Herbs Without Borders, Herbalists Without Borders to be so inspiring, and the way people manifest that is just really wonderful. So yeah, thank you for that. So a gift
Thank
to your
you.
community on multiple levels, I have no doubt.
Yes, thank you.
Well, before I let you go, I would love to ask you one more question. And that question is, how do herbs instill hope in you?
Mhm. Yeah, I love that question. Um, and my response to that is even more than hope, they instill confidence.
Hmm.
Um, as far as hope goes, I know that if people would really open up their hearts and open up their minds, the heart has to open first in order for the mind to open, and
Hmm.
believe that your body was created to heal itself,
Hmm.
and plants were put here to support that healing.
Hmm.
And I'm asking that people trust the plan. So it is my hope that people begin to trust the plants more and more until it just overtakes their medicine chest, you know, as it did mine. I don't have any pharmaceuticals in my house anymore. I only have oils, clays, herbs, and saps, flower essences, and tinctures. Let's not forget our tinctures.
Hmm.
And um, as far as confidence goes, once you do a small experiment with yourself in order to, like we did, it's trial and error,
Hmm.
and we tried and there was no error. So we're like, oh, this could work. And so then that will instill the confidence, which will take it on from generation to generation, because that's what we need now. We need generational knowledge. That should be our legacy, to pass it down of how to take care of yourself to get through what we call life.
Hmm.
You know.
Oh my gosh, Carolyn, you've shared so many powerful things, so many wise things that, again, like I know this is a podcast I'm going to go back and listen to again. Yeah,
Thank
that
you.
was a really beautiful, powerful ending, both on the confidence and yeah, and I hear you on the like passing through the generations, and that's our job now because it was unfortunately skip some generations, and that vast amounts, even though it's still lived threads here and there, vast amounts of people, lost that ability to turn to the plants with confidence for healing. And that's our work now, is to bring that back. And it's through people like you that's happening. So thank you so much for your work. Thank you so much for being with us. Thanks for that powerful sharing about Yarrow and your beautiful recipe, and for taking the time for us. I deeply, deeply appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. Don't forget to head over to the show notes at herbswithrosalee.podcast.com to download your beautifully illustrated recipe card. There, you'll also be able to sign up for my newsletter, which is the best way to stay in touch. You can find more about Carolyn and check out her books at her website at behealed.info. If you'd like more herbal episodes to head your way, then one of the best ways to support this podcast is by subscribing on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. I deeply believe that this world needs more herbalists and plant-centered folks, and I'm so glad that you're here as part of this herbal community. Also, a big round of thanks to the people all over the world who make this podcast happen week to week. Emily Thomas Anderson is the project manager who oversees the entire podcast operation, from guest outreach to writing show notes and on and on. I often tell people, I just show up. Emily does most of the heavy lifting. Nicole Paul is the operator for the entire Herbs with Rosalee school and community. She keeps an eagle eye view on everything to ensure it's running smoothly. Francesca is our fabulous video and audio editor. She not only makes listening more pleasant, she also adds beauty to the YouTube videos with plant images and video overlays. Tatiana Rusakova is the botanical illustrator who creates gorgeous plant and recipe illustrations for us. I love them, and I know you love them. Once the illustration is ready, Jenny creates the recipe cards as well as the thumbnail images for YouTube. Alex is our behind-the-scenes tech support and social media manager, and Karen and Emily are our student services coordinators and community support. If you've written in with a question, undoubtedly you got help from them. For those of you who like to read along, Jennifer is who creates the transcripts each week. Xavier, my handsome French husband, is the cameraman and website IT guy. It takes an herbal village to make it all happen, including you. Thank you so much for your support through your comments, reviews, and ratings. One of my favorite things about this podcast is hearing from you. I read every comment that comes in, and I'm excited to hear your thoughts. All right, you've lasted to the very end of the show, which means you get a gold star and this herbal tidbit. Well, if you take a close look at Yarrow's flowering tops, you'll notice that they form a kind of umbrella, a delicate cluster of flowers that are arching out to catch the sun. And in energetic herbalism, that shape is more than just ornamental. As Carolyn shared, Yarrow is often seen as a protective plant, like a soft shield that helps you stay open to the world without being overwhelmed by it. Whether growing in a wild field or offered as a flower essence, Yarrow reminds us that strong boundaries can be beautiful ones. Thanks for joining me on this herbal adventure. I'll see you next time. Hi, it's Rosalee. If this podcast has brought you inspiration or grounded you in your love of herbs, I'd love to invite you to join the podcast circle. Your membership helps support the show, and it gives you access to live herbal classes, exclusive resources, and a warm community of fellow plant lovers. Learn more and join us at herbalpodcastcircle.com. Your support truly helps this podcast thrive. Thank you.